You'll remember 4 years ago, a state police officer in Missouri and then another federal marshal from another state sent me separate Homeland Security documents, one federally produced and then basically a carbon copy regurgitated in the MIAC report in Missouri. And it said the number one terror threat is not Al-Qaeda. It is returning veterans, gun owners, Christians, libertarians, Ron Paul supporters, people that like Aaron Russo's film America, Freedom to Fascism. And for about 4 or 5 days, people did not believe it was even real. It was so shocking. It was so incredible. Kind of like when I reported a year ago about 1 billion bullets that had been bought. Now it's 2 billion. People couldn't believe it. Or that there'd be drones in the skies, which they now admit. People have a normalcy bias of that could never happen here. Once it does happen, they say, okay, it's no big deal. Or what are you going to do about it? There's kind of that attitude. But here we are now with a new report up at Infowars.com with a link to the letter sent by the Southern Poverty Law Center to Attorney General Eric Holder. Now, Eric Holder, as Deputy Attorney General, worked very close under Clinton with the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, who is well known as a demonization anti-American group that runs around criticizing the Bill of Rights and Constitution. That is anybody that supports it. And tries to tie anybody who even is for private property or the Second Amendment to the Ku Klux Klan and other Hal Turner type federal government run front groups and provocateur groups. So they're a bucket of black paint that they paint on whoever is promoting liberty. You see MSNBC with this tactic, kind of like a megaphone, and that's where he was on TV as well, bad-mouthing us, saying we're terrorists. You see this with their megaphone MSNBC, where Rand Paul's filibuster was racist. I'm not kidding. I was at dinner last night. My wife had her iPhone. She said, look at this news article. It was a mainstream news article reporting on Rand Paul being racist for his filibuster. Nothing about race. It was about having a Bill of Rights, a Constitution, not having a police state here in America. And it's like, oh, you don't like government health care? That's racist. You don't like turning your guns in? That's racist. You don't do what we say, you're a racist. I mean, it's just pure political weapon. Well, now in this new letter, the Southern Poverty Law Center has sent a letter earlier this week to Attorney General Eric Holder and Department of Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano, urging the government to establish a task force to investigate the supposed domestic terror threat posed by the likes of Alex Jones, We Are Change, Oath Keepers, the Constitution Party, the Tyranny Response Team, and thousands of other Americans outside the orbit of the establishment. I mean, this is like having the French Resistance being investigated by the Nazis. We need to investigate these Frenchmen that aren't going along with us. The letter sent by President and CEO, maybe I should call myself President and CEO of Infowars, of SPLC, begins by reminding Holder and Napolitano of the organization wrote Attorney General Janet Reno about the growing threat of domestic terrorism prior to the Oklahoma City bombing in October of '94. Yeah, because you had your people running Elohim City, according to Hal and other informants inside. Yeah, of course you warned us. Oh, something's bad's going to happen if you don't get rid of freedom. Oh, look, it happened, like Fast and Furious, a staged event. Today we write to express similar concerns. Yeah, they know it's time to demonize us. In the past 4 years, we have seen a tremendous increase in the number of conspiracy-minded. That's people that can open the window and see that it's daytime outside or nighttime. Cohen warns, come from citizens concerned about federal government attacks on the Second Amendment. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. That's not happening. A whole bunch of states aren't banning semi-autos. A whole bunch of states aren't making you turn them in. A whole bunch of states aren't banning mags over 7 rounds and arresting people. Feinstein didn't call for Mr. and Mrs. America, turn in your rifles. No. See, it's a conspiracy theory. There's a conspiracy theory that there's attacks on the Second Amendment. Because of looming dangers, we urge you to establish an interagency task force to assess the adequacy of the resources devoted to responding to the growing threat of non-Islamic domestic terrorism. And that's exactly what the White House wants, the full flipping of the script onto the American people. That is the program. That is the plan. And it just goes on and on. And guess who's listed in the memo. You guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, the evil, the horrible Alex Jones. Oh my gosh, he's so horrible, he might get a speeding ticket every 3 years. He's so horrible, he gets angry about them restricting our liberties and then denying they're doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, my street team in Austin, Texas, was told, and we sent camera crews down there, we have this now on video, we're told that we cannot have bumper stickers that say Infowars.com downtown in our cars because it's advertising, and our crew cannot hand out free magazines to wake people up. Oh, there's nothing wrong in America. They arrest you for chalking your own sidewalk in Austin, where I live. Look at this. New York vet arrested for 30-round magazines, part 1, Washington Times. They're throwing the book at him. They've now charged him. But, oh, it's okay. The Attorney General came out and said he will use drones on the American people, and they'll secretly arrest us if they want. But everything's all right. I mean, here they are a year ago. Right-wing extremist terrorism as deadly a threat as Al-Qaeda. Now they're saying it's a bigger threat. They're fully scripting this entire takeover. And again, I warned you about that many years ago because I had the internal memos and I was an extremist, but now it's proven right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I am basically the evil terrorist. Oh, but here's Gibbs admitting that they were told to lie to the public and say there was no drone program, even though it publicly existed. You understand, it was admitted to exist, but they think you're so dumb, they were told to say it didn't exist to you, and he followed orders. And he was on MSNBC talking about it, and they laugh and say, yeah, we all do that. It's fun to lie to people. We're not coming after your guns. There's no bullets. There's no drones. It shows what absolute cretin occupiers these people are. We want a task force. Alex Jones says we're coming for the guns. It's a conspiracy theorist. They may blow something up. No, the globalists are going to blow stuff up and blame it on us. It's called a false flag. And guess what? This isn't 1995, boys. We've been out there explaining to everybody who's behind it. And we've got our people everywhere watching. Just like when you had the drugged up underwear bomber 2.5 years ago, put them on the plane. Our witnesses were there and blew it wide open, and later it was confirmed. The U.S. government put him on the plane. He was obviously drugged up, so you could put naked body scanners out there. We know who you are. We're watching when you blow up the next federal building. Our people are watching when you shoot up the next school. Our people are watching. We know if you'll kill 200 Iraqis to get, quote, one insurgent and call it collateral damage, you'll do a federal building and call it that too. We know who you are. We know what you've done. We're watching you, and we know you're scared because you should be criminals. You should be criminals. Your Nelly bravada is over. We're committed, and we know you're the terrorist. You hear that New World Order? You foreign banks and your mercenary henchmen at the Obama administration and the Republican leadership. You see Rand Paul up there filibustering? The sleeping giant is awakening. Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com. I'll be back live on the radio tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, and back Monday, 11 a.m. Central. And I'm protesting in Austin in front of the Convention Center their attack on the First Amendment today at 5 o'clock. I'm getting in the car now to drive back in.